All right, so let me recap what we did um, in in upper class. We worked on marker-based augmented reality day 3, and we called up in Unity. We said we called up the SDK needed, which is Vuforia, okay, which I believe by now you already know how to do that, and yes, you already know how to do that. Then we said that in hierarchy, you call up the Vuforia camera, AR camera. Yes, for you to be able to use the Vuforia SDK, right after importing into your project, then you call up the image target if you want to make use of an image, right? Image target. If you want to make use of an image, and in the last class as well, we also imported a license key and a database as well. Remember the database, we called up 3 different images, and we had the good image target and we also have the bad image target, right? We imported it into our project, and we said if you come into the inspector, you will see the under image target behavior. You'll say from database because we created a database. Then what type of database? We say test one. We say test one. And if you look, this database that we have here, this image target we have here is the image target that has 0 stars. Okay, it's not augmentable. So we have the test one. Then under the image target, what type of image target we want? We have 3. We have flower. We have sandstone. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, great. So you have the sandstone. Then we said that for you to be able to augment anything, right? When you point this image to your camera, for you to be able to see the 3D object on the image, you need to make the 3D object a child of the image target, okay? And we said, let's call up a 3D cube. And we said that the moment once you have your object, make it a child of the image target by dragging it on top of the image target. Okay? Once you drag it on top of the image target, you discover that this cube now becomes the child of the image target. The image target is a parent and the cube is a child. Right? If you drag it out, it's no longer okay. If you put it on top, it becomes a child of the image target. How do you know it has become a child of the image target? The moment you have this little drop down triangle, you click on it, it closes, you don't see anything again. If you click on it, you see that it will have more like a drop down. So invariably is a child of this image target. Once you turn on your camera and you project this image target to your camera, this 3D cube will hover over your image target. Okay, so we dealt with this the last time, and I believe a number of us actually understood because some of us actually posted what they did on Twitter. All right, and again, I want to admonish us that whenever you try out anything and it worked out for you, please post it in Discord server so that people will know, so that we know that yes, we are following you. Okay, others will see what you've been able to do, I think the person posted a pizza. So if you're the one that actually posted, you can actually let us know it right here. And the person got lots of comments and positive reviews and all the stuff. All right, so today we are going to be talking about markerless augmented reality. This is marker-based. We are talking about markerless augmented reality. So that's the latest image targets. So markerless augmented reality is the type of augmented reality that you don't need image targets, right? You can scan the floor and project a 3D object. You can scan the air and project a 3D object. I think I have a video. Let me see if I put, okay. Let's see, do we have any video here? Explain a subject. Okay, as you can see, looking at this video, you see that I am scanning the floor, okay? I'm scanning the floor. So once you scan the floor, it populates, it scans to know that, okay, it looks around and says, okay, this is the floor. All right, what next am I going to put on the floor? The 3D objects, okay? There you go. So once it scans the floor, right, or any plane, any flat surface, it's not always the floor, but anything that is flat, right, you project a 3D model on it. Okay, so for this is the floor. I can actually scan this table right in here, and this 3D object too can also be placed on it. Okay, so this is markerless augmented reality. It doesn't require you to have image targets. Okay, now let's quickly do that. And for your information, this is a web augmented reality. Okay, this is totally web. It's not an application. All right. Obviously, as time goes on, we are going to build product around this. Okay. So yes. Now, for you to do that, of course, we will still have to make use of the Vuforia features. So click in your hierarchy, scroll down to Vuforia engine, and you're going to see Grand Plane. Amongst these options, you see Grand Plane. In Grand Plane, you have two options as well. You have Plane Finder and you have Grand Plane Stage. Now, click on both of them. Go back again, Grand Plane, and click on Grand Plane. Okay, so you have the Plane Finder, you have the Grand Plane. You have it too. So let me do that again. Let me delete this. I said go over to Vuforia, Grand Plane, right? In Grand Plane, you have two options. Okay, let me do this. Let me see. Vuforia, Grand Plane. In Grand Plane, you have two options. You have Plane Finder, you have Grand Plane Stage. You are going to click on both of them. Okay, click on the first one, go back again, and click on the second one. Okay, now this enables you to scan the floor and superimpose any 3D elements you put in it. Okay, now let's look through this right now. If you click on the Plane Finder, right, you discover that this is the inspector, more like the properties of it. Let's see what we have in advance. Okay, on content, please. All right, great. So in the advance, you have the anchor stage. Now, let's click on this. You will see this line. This is the anchor stage. Okay, this stuff you see in here is the anchor stage. So, but when you scan this, you won't see this. Okay, you won't see this on the floor, but this is the anchor stage. So what we are going to do right now, click on the Plane Finder again and drag this anchor stage into the space in here, right? Put it in here. Let me do that. Okay, now click on the Plane Finder. Now drag this Grand Plane stage into this anchor stage space in here. Okay, now If another way, let's undo this. Let's undo this. In the anchor plane, you discover that there's no other thing apart from this in here, right? So if you click on this icon here, you'll see that the only thing you find is this. So click on it and it's in there, okay? That makes you know that yes, you're actually doing the right thing. Now, if you look through it under this anchor, you have duplicate stage. Now, the duplicate stage is when you want to have, for instance, you have a 3D model in here. Duplicate stage allows you to have, when you scan your plane, you scan the floor, allows you to have in multiple 3D models on the floor. Rather than you having one, with duplicate stage, you can have multiple of them as much as you want by tapping on the screen. You'll be placing this element everywhere, okay? So let me see whether, let me show you a video. I used to have a video on this. Anyways, I don't think I do again. So, but we don't want to, so you can uncheck it, okay? If you want to have multiple of them, you can check it out, all right? So what I want you to do is that when you are building this application in your spare time, right, try this multiple duplicate stage. You build it without the duplicate stage, then you also export it with duplicate stage and try both of them. You will see that when you are augmenting, when you are projecting these models on the floor, without the duplicate stage, it's just going to be just one model. But once you check it and you have the duplicate stage, you discover that you can place as many of those models in your space. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is that we call up our 3D model. Okay. Yes, I have this. I'll send the link to the chat so you can download it. So I have it in here. So just drag it on top this ground plane stage. Once you drag it, you will see that you can see it in here. Let me take away this. Let me drag this camera away from here. Okay. You can see it in here. Okay. If you zoom, you can see it. But hey, it's too tiny. Okay, let's zoom it. So you click on it. You use your, of course, you can use your all-in-one tools, which is this. You drag it out. Okay. Then you adjust it a bit. Your liking. Now, I think I have showed us how to call up image materials, right? How to add materials to 3D models. And if you look through here, if you look in the folder of the forest house, you see that there are materials, okay? So all we have to do is to click on this. Okay, let's experiment something. If you drag this material, this particular one on this, nothing happens, okay? Nothing happens. But expand it. Now go through them, each and every one of them, right? Go through them. Then now let's see whether we can add this material to this ground. Let's see what happens. Okay. We're able to add this to the ground. But what happens to the entire model? Let's see whether we can. So this material is just for the floor, okay? But if you want to add up your own material bit by bit, you can actually do that. For example, let's create a folder here. Okay, we have the folder material here, right? These trees, we can, of course, trees are green, right? We can create green colors and add it to green materials and add it to these trees right here. So let's quickly do that. So if I click here, click on create material, right? Then give it a name tree. Now, in the color, in your inspector, just click over here and choose your color, green. Once you do, just drag it to the tree. There you go, your tree is now green. So you add it to all the tree options. Okay, now we have our tree. Awesome. So let's look through again. Let's look through. Let's see. Okay, you have the building, you have, so we can actually, what we can actually do is that if we want to, create it just the way it is in here, we can actually have these colors, these textures, everything in the model, but hey, that's going to take a lot of time. Okay, but I showed us how to get that done. For example, let's see. Yeah, these are the rocks. Of course, you can create a material, give it the color that you want, the color of a rock, right? Or again, you can go to Google and let's say rock texture, right? Okay, yeah. So we have this. I can save this. All right, awesome. I can drag the texture into my into Unity, right? Then I can create another material and call the material rock. Now, all I have to do is to just drag this image and place on my albedo. This option here, drag it. Or you can just click this tiny icon here. I don't know if you can see it. Click on it. Then you can pick the option rock, right? Once you do, now these are the child of the rocks, okay? The child object of the rock. So you just add them. Let me show you that it has changed. You can see this is the rock, okay? So let's add them, just add materials to the rock model, okay? So of course you can do all this. So we have added the texture. This is it. This is another rock. This is another rock. Added the texture. All right, so let's quickly get back to the Marketless thing. So once you're here, you discover that you're done actually, because the most important thing is that you called up the plane finder, you called up the ground stage, and in the plane finder, right, you have the ground plane stage, which is your anchor, right? Now, if you build this, you can actually try this out, okay? You scan the floor and you see that this 3D model will appear on the floor. So how do you build an augmented reality application in Unity? You come over to File, click on File, you scroll down to Build Settings. So once you're here, now it's important to add the scene. This space you actually have in here is the different pages you have in your Unity. So if you have, like in the last class, the upper class, I said scenes are like pages. In Unity, pages are called scenes, okay? When you have another page in Unity, it's called scene, okay? So just click on Add Open Scene. Once you click on this, it appears here. That is this sample scene. This sample scene appears here. Another way you can do that is by dragging it here. Once you drag it, it appears here. Okay, let me Let me remove it. If you drag it from here, it appears here as well. It's very important to add your scene in your scene build, because if you don't add it, it's like, okay, let me explain this. It's like you cooking, okay, and you have your pepper, you have your fish, and you have your seasoning. You already have them prepared, and when you're cooking, you didn't add your seasoning. You didn't add your pepper. You didn't add your pepper to what you're cooking. You omitted it. Once the food is ready, you discover that yes, it's nicely looking, but there is no pepper. Okay, therefore the food does not taste nice. That is how it is here. So if you omit this thing, it's like a page. If you don't add it up in your build, it's like you've created a nice application in Unity, but when you want to export it, you omitted a page. All right, that is what it is. Now, what platform do you want to build on? You want to build for Android. Okay, you want to build for Android. You click on Android and you click on switch. For a minute. Do I have the Android module? Okay, I don't have the Android module in this version. So what I will do is to save this, close it, and open it in a different version. Okay, so I'm running it on 2020.3.34. So let's choose a lower version. Let's choose this. Let's open with it. Let's change version. Okay, it's going to take a while though. So why is going to open? If you understand what we are doing here, let me know. If you don't understand, I can always repeat the process again. Is there any questions? Okay, Usman said I do. Awesome. All right, it's going to take a while because it's converting from one version to the other. So take a while. Oh, it was quite fast actually. All right, let's see whether we have errors, because most times when you convert, you switch from a higher version to a lower version, you have errors. Okay, so yeah, there is no error. All right, so let's get back. So you click on File, Build Settings, and in this version, I have my Android module. Okay, so if you click on it, wait a minute, what am I seeing here? Okay, there's no problem. All right, so you click on whatever version, whatever module, whatever platform you want to build for, right? You can actually click on it. For example, if you want to build for Webgl, okay, we are going to try something around Webgl. Want to build for Webgl, you can click on this. All right, so let's quickly click on Android and switch. Now, what it does is that it will switch from whatever platform it is. The previous platform where it was on PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. Okay, with this, you can install this application on your PC or your Mac system. But for Android, you will install it on your Android device. Okay, so let it switch. So once it switches to Android, we actually have the interface of Android. We can choose, okay, it has switched successfully, right? Let's come back to game. You see right now that we have this interface. If you click on portraits, you'll see the different interfaces, okay? Different sizes rather of devices. So you have the 80 by 480, which is this. You have this, but I like using the 16 by 9 portraits. Okay, you have this. So Once you do this, okay, let's go back to our scene. You go back to file again, build. Then you click on build. That is if everything is set, right? Everything is okay. Let's look through this. Okay, we have our AR camera. We have our directional light. We have our plane finder. We have everything. Let's ensure that everything is okay. All right. Now, quickly before I build, if you click on ground plane stage, we have these options here, these features here called on target found and on target lost. Now, what this does is that you can make use of this, you can choose to make use of this, you can choose not to make use of it. It doesn't change anything, but professionally, what this does is that it's telling you that when your camera finds the target, and the target now is the floor, is a flat surface, when it finds the target, what should happen? Okay, now you can use these options here to tell your phone or your camera what it should actually do. So for this, we can choose to say when it finds on target find, you can click on this. You should say it should display this Forex model. Drag it in here, come to function, click on gain object and click on set active. Then click on tick. Okay. When it finds the floor, it should automatically place this 3D model on the floor. Now, when the target is lost, okay, this is on target found. When the target is lost, what should it do? Okay, you can just leave it. When the target is lost, it shouldn't do anything. Okay, but when the target, the plane is found, right, it should augment this 3D model on the floor. Okay, so let's go back to File and Build. Click on Build Settings and click on Build. Right now, you give the application a name. Okay, so we can say this is test one demo. And remember, if you're building for Android, the extension for Android is called APK. APK means Android packages. Okay, Android packages. That is what it means. Okay, then you click on save. Now, what it does is that, unlike when you're cooking, like I said earlier on, when you're cooking, you have everything. You have prepared your pepper, you've prepared your seasoning, you've prepared practically everything you need to cook that delicious meal, right? But if you don't put it on the fire for it to process, for the heat, for everything to just merge together, right? You can't call that cooking. If you just have your pepper, your tomatoes and everything, if you just have them together, it's not cooking until it goes through the fire, okay? So that is what is actually happening in here. We have added up everything, our 3D models, we have added up everything. So what we are doing right now is that we are cooking the application. So the process of cooking is building it, putting everything together, okay? So once it does that, it will bring out an APK application that you can actually install on your device. And again, if you are building this and you want to run it on your device, ensure that you have a very good device. If you have phones like the Techno and Infinix, it might not work because some of these phones really don't support the features for augmented reality, except you have the latest device. Okay, maybe you have the latest Infinix, you have the latest Techno devices, it will work. But from Samsung, Oppo, Reno, and the rest, in fact, if you have Samsung, it will work. So if you look through it, it has successfully built, our application has successfully been built. Okay, we have the test one.demo application. This is it. So if you put this device, rather this app into your device and install it, it will install and it will trigger your phone camera to open. Then once it finds the floor, it will automatically put in that 3D model of a building on the floor. Now let's go back again. Now let's go back to build settings. We click on player settings, right? In here, you have your settings. I'm supposed to show us this before I click on the build settings. In here, you have your company name. You can put in any company you want, right? I can put in SDS. I have another company called SDS. I'm putting SDS. Now, this is your product name. That is this application that you're building, test one. You can change the name here. You can change it to anything here. Then the version, you have 0.1 version. Yeah, basically, that is it. Now, every Android application has a logo, okay? And this is where you put in your icons or an icon, right? So this is where you put in your icon. If you click on here, right? If you click on here, we really don't have any icon. We really don't have any icon. Okay, I can use this flower as my icon. Okay, so once I build this application, you install it on your device, you see that is this icon, this flower that will show. This flower represents your application test one. Okay, so since then, let's just click on them. So basically, that is all you need to do. You need to know in this player settings. Okay. And yes, so that is that for Marketless. Okay, again, let's delete this. Let's delete this. You can build again for marker-based augmented reality by doing the same thing. Okay, the same thing that we did in the last class. Call up your image target. So I want to see if I want to see us try this and post it in Discord and on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Okay, try this out. Build it and install the application on your Android device, and let's see what you're able to do. Okay, so you choose from your database, test one, and this. Or let's choose a flower, preferably. Yeah, I think I like this flower. Then you can have your 3D model. You can put your 3D model on top the image target. Wow, it's very small. So let's increase the size of the model. Okay. Now, remember, I've already showed you the site where you can download 3D models, so you can use any model, right? What I just want to say is that you are following what I'm teaching right here, that you're able to replicate what we have just done in here. So today, I just want you to build this application, install it on your device, then scan the image target. Let's see what you have, okay? Let's see. This is how we know that you're actually fluent, okay? Okay, so you do the same thing, practically the same thing, that is all. Then you come over to build setting, you switch to Android like we've done, then you click on build, right? It's going to build for image target. Then once you scan your image target, this 3D model will appear. All right, now we have talked about image targets, which this is the image target. We have talked about Markerless, which was the previous one we just did for the ground. Now, what about the air? Okay, the ability for you to just scan the air, your device we just automatically know that you're scanning the air, then it will impose 3D model in the air. So how do you get that done? Let's lady. Come over to Euphoria again. Then you will see mid-air. Okay, you see this option. You see this option, mid-air. You click on the mid-air positioner. Come over here again, and mid-air, then mid-air stage. Okay, you must have these two these two objects in here for it to work. Okay, let's see again. Let's see. All right. So just like the same thing that we did for the markerless, okay, the plane, the ground plane and the flat surface stuff, is the same thing we are going to do for the air. If you click on the air positioning, right, you still have the anchor stage, okay, and your anchor stage is the mid-air. So if you click on this option, this tiny option here, tiny button right here, click on it. You will see that you have the mid-air stage. You click on the mid-air stage and it appears here. Again, you can also drag it from here and put it in there. Okay. Now we also have the same option of for you to duplicate it in the air, right? You can duplicate it in the air. You can duplicate. You can choose to duplicate it. You can choose not to duplicate it. If you want to duplicate it, you leave this option ticked. If you don't want, you uncheck the option. Okay. So now we have added our mid-air stage to our mid-air positioner, which is this. Okay. Now what we have to do is we can have this 3D model. We don't want to have a building floating. So let's just call in 3D cube. Let's do cube. Increase the size. But before we do that, double click on the mid-air stage. Right. Once you do, you will see this stop in here. You have the coordinates here. You have the Y. You have this is your Y, your Z. You have your Y, which is the top here. So you have the different coordinates here. So ensure that your 3D model is in between these coordinates, right? For instance, let me add a cube again. So you see, our cube is in between this. It's just at the center of it, okay? This is what we want. If you take it to the right in here, yes, it will show, but it will be out of the view of the camera, okay? So if you put it at the center, let's click on put it at the center, you will see that it aligns perfectly well, okay? So once you do this, of course, you make the cube the child of the mid-air stage, okay? You make the cube the child of the mid-air stage. Once you do, this is all that you need to do, okay? You build your application as usual, build settings, you build it. You can give it a name. The name should be different. Remember, you're also going to build this too and also try it out. So I want to say the image target. I want to see the markerless, and I also want to see, I want to see the two markerless, which is the plane and also the air. Okay, so you can name this test mode air demo. Air demo or air target demo. Yeah, air target demo. So it's going to build. Now for the plane, you can name it plane target demo. For the image target, you can name it image target demo. Okay, so that you can, because if you name it, if it has the same name, it wouldn't build. It will tell you, so it will ask you if you want to update the previous one that you have worked on. So you give it a different name so that you are able to build. All right, so there you go. You see, we have the first one, test one demo. We have the air targets demo. Okay, so this we do different things. This, when you scan it in the air, it will superimpose that cube. This, when you scan the floor or any flat surface, to superimpose your 3D model on the floor or on any flat surface. Now, when you scan the image target, which we didn't build, you need to scan the image target for it to work. Okay, so any question on this? Is it clear? Is it something that we can do? Are we promising that we can do it? If you want me to repeat the process, I can do that. All right, Usman, I should repeat the process. Okay. Where? Which particular one? Is it for is it everything, or is it plain, or the air, the ground surface, or I should go over everything? All right, I assume is everything. So let's let's just repeat the process again. Yeah, I deleted everything. Yeah, but let me delete this. Um, all right. So, of course, number one, you import your Vuforia SDK into Unity, right? Once you do that, you have the option in here, right? Number two, it depends on what you want to build. If it's image target, you call up your image. You go to Vuforia Engine, you call up your image targets. Remember that you must have created a database on Vuforia website, right? And you imported your database in here, right? Then in the image target, click on in the image target, right? Once you click on the image target in the inspector, you click on under the image target behavior, you choose where you want your image target to come from, but you already have the database. You see database, then the database name, then the image targets, okay, which we have our rock, right? We have our rock. Now, once we do this, once we call up our image target in here, and you can see it, the next thing to do is to add in your 3D objects to the image target, right? So for now, we have our 3D model, which we have in our asset. You drag it and you place it on the image target, okay? Now, it's already in the image, on the image target, but it's very tiny, so you drag it out, okay? You drag it out, you adjust it perfectly well. This is our image target. Now, it's already the child of the image target, okay? So once it's already the child of the image target, that is all you need to know. That's all you need to do. You ensure that you have, for it to work, you ensure that you have your license key in here already, which I already showed us how to do. Yes, this is your license key from Vuforia, right? You create your license key. You also create your image target, which is also your database. Then you copy your license key, come to Unity, then you paste it in here. Okay, awesome. So once you paste in your license key, everything works. Then you come over to File, then you click on Build. Now, if you have not switched to Android, it's imperative to switch to Android depending on the platform you're building on, right? You switch to Android, then you click on Build. It will build it into Android packages that you can install on your device, right? This is for image target. And let's delete this. Now we said let's build for Marketless where you don't need image target. So you click on in your hierarchy again, you go to Vuforia Engine and you click on ground plane, right? You have your ground plane here. You have your ground plane here. Then in ground plane, you have two options. You have two of these options here. You pick the two, right? You take the first one, you come back again, ground plane, you take the second one. All right. So in ground plane, for us to build for ground plane, these two stuff have to be in here, okay? Has to be in here. So in plane finder, you have in ground plane, you have plane finder, you have ground plane stage, right? In plane finder, what this plane finder does is that it ensures that where you want to put your 3D model is the right place. And since you are building for the ground, it has to be on the ground or on any flat surface. Okay? So what it does is that it finds a flat surface. Right? That is what it does. It finds a flat surface. So once it finds that flat surface, it says, okay, now we have found a flat surface. Let's place the digital element, which is a 3D model right now on the flat surface. Okay? So once you click on this flat surface, in the inspector, you have the anchor stage. Right? Now, in this anchor stage, what it does is that you need to drag this ground plane stage in here. In this ground plane stage, this is where you will have your 3D model. Okay? So you drag this in here, right? And again, I said, let's undo this. I said, another way that you can actually ensure that you're doing the right thing is to click on this icon here. Once you click on the icon, you'll see this is the same ground plane. You will see it here. You just click on it and it appears here. Now, we said that once you have your 3D model and you're scanning the floor, right, you have an option here called duplicate stage. If you want your 3D model to be duplicated, that is, it's supposed to be 1. If you want them to be 2, 3, 10, right, that is where this comes in, right? You leave it unchecked. But if you don't want it to be duplicated, you uncheck it. All right, so let's just uncheck it. But if you want it duplicated, you check it. Now, we have not added our 3D model. All right, so what you do is to add your 3D model, which we have our 3D model. You drag your 3D model on top this ground plane, right? The same thing we did with image targets, right? Where you need to put in the 3D object into the image target. Because this is image target, we need to put the 3D model in. But this is what we are working on right now. It's not the image target. We are working on ground plane. So you need to put in your 3D of the model into the ground plane. Okay. Once you put it into the ground plane, it becomes a child of this ground plane. So let's click on the ground plane. You can see that this is your guide. Okay. This is your guide. So let's increase the size of our model, okay, so that at least it can be okay. Ensure that it's not bigger than the guide. Okay. As you can see, we have actually ensured that it's okay. Right, great. So this is all you needed to do. Okay, this is all you just needed to do. Once you do this, just ensure that everything is okay, right? Okay, I explained what this on target option is here, and on target fund and on target loss. Okay, now this on target fund is when you install this application on your device and it triggers your phone camera to open. Once you scan the floor, right? Now, this option here on target fund, once it finds the floor or the flat surface or any flat surface, right, it places the 3D model on the floor. Okay, it places the 3D model on that flat surface. All right, but again, you can choose to leave it. Okay, you can choose to leave it. You can choose to use it. You can choose to leave it. But how do you work with it? Click on this plus button, right? If you want to make use of this option. Now, you said on target found. What happens when the target is found? What happens when the flat surface is found? What should we do? We should call this 3D model, right? We should call this 3D model to the floor. We should impose this 3D model on the floor. So once you drag the 3D model in here, on the function here, you have no function. Click on it, click on game object, you click on set active. Now we want to set this 3D model active once the target surface has been found, which is the flat surface right now. Then you click on check. Okay. Once you click on check, once your phone camera opens and it scans any flat surface, the floor or any flat surface, it imposes this 3D model. Okay, is that clear? Now you can go ahead and build as usual, switch to Android and build and try it out on your device. So I hope that is clear. It's the same thing that we actually do for air. The same thing we actually do for mid-air stage, mid-air stage, right? The air positioner, which is this, you click on this icon, you have the mid-air stage, which is also your anchor. Then you call in your 3D model, you put in your 3D model into the mid-air stage. Click on the mid-air stage, you can see the coordinates. Okay, ensure that it's at the center. Ensure that your 3D model is at the center. Okay, once you do this, you're good to go. If you click on the mid-air stage, the same option here. Once it scans the air and it identifies that okay, it's the air is scanning, what should happen? We should call this 3D model in here. You ensure that it is active. Okay, that is it. So is anyone lost again? Is anyone lost? Any question? Oh, all right, great. Good to know that it's clear, man. Okay, somebody sent the text. Okay, Miracle say, as for scanning, you specified a particular kind of phone. Example, so if someone without Samsung won't be able to test what he or she will be. You're referring to both ground and plane. Yes, I'm referring to both all options. For example, like I didn't say someone without Samsung. That is, your phone must be enabled. Okay, I think there is a site. Let me see. There is a site to check phones that are augmented reality enabled. Let me see. AR enabled devices. Let me see whether I can see it. Okay, I've seen the site. Let me share the link. Sorry, rather, let me. All right. Now, if you come to this site called AR Core, right? Developers of AR Core. Let me send the link to this. Here you go. You have the link. Come to this site. You can actually see the devices. Now, this site is always updated. Okay. Now, I think there is a new device. I don't know how long it has been. I did a research, and ASUS now have a mobile phone called ROG phone. Okay, so all these devices are high-end devices. You have Google Pixel, you have HMD Global, we have Nokia. So if you have a Nokia device from Nokia 3.4 to Nokia 5.4, you have Honor, you have Huawei. Okay, Huawei built a phone. They have people called Honor 8, 10, and other stuff. You have Infinix. Okay, yes, we have Infinix Mobile. You have Note 6. From Note 6, Note 7, and 05G, all these devices are augmented reality enabled. They support depth sensors. So for your phone to be able to support all this augmented reality stuff that you're working on, it must have some certain sensors. We have gyroscope, it must have depth sensors and other stuff. So you see they support depth sensors API. Then you have LG. If you have an LG mobile, you have Motorola, you have OnePlus, you have Oppo, right? So if you have Oppo A92, Oppo A52, Oppo F15. Yeah, if you have Reno, Oppo Reno, all these devices, okay, it will work. Okay, it will work. You have Realme. So this you have Samsung, okay? Then after Samsung, you have Sharp, Sony. So there are so many devices. You have Techno. Yes, Techno. We have Camon 18P. Yes, it supports augmented reality, right? So if your phone cannot be located here, right? Of course, your brand will be located here, but if your type of phone cannot be located here, then I don't think it will support. Even Technopova to support Vivo. We have Xiaomi. So there are lots of devices here, okay, that so check through here, right? But a better way to check is also to build this application and install your device. If it doesn't trigger your phone camera to open, right, then it's not that supportive, okay? It's not fully supportive, okay? All right, so, yeah, so that is an answer for Miracle. Miracle, do let me know what device you have. Then you find you said it's all clear. Okay. Yes, of course. If you have a higher device, right, it's obviously it's going to work. I think maybe from if you have device from Android 10 to Android 12, I think it should be augmented reality enabled. Then yes, Asus ROG is a gaming phone. I have the system, so I hope to get the phone. Yeah. Well, I don't need. I have a gaming system, so I can game on. So oh, that's awesome. Awesome. So Da Silva, it should work for you. I don't know about TechnoSpark for Miracle, but yeah, you can build this application and check around you, family, friends, and anyone that have good devices can actually you can try them on. Yes, iOS, but we are building for Android, okay? So for all iOS devices to work, I believe, but we are building for Android, we are not building for iOS. So if you have iOS device, I don't think you can install this right now. I think the beginning of this class, not this particular class, of this cohort, I made mention of iOS device that um, for you to build for iOS, you need something they call Xcode, and you also need a MacBook. Okay, so if you have a MacBook, good for you. You can build for iOS and you can try it on your iOS device to see if it works. But if you have Windows system, you can't build for iOS device. The lectures is actually there. All right. So, any more questions? Okay, let's go back. Let's quickly do something for WebGL. I don't think I have that option on our timetable. Okay, so let's delete this. So WebGL, when you build for WebGL, it's like building what is it called? It's like building a virtual reality application. With WebGL, you can just check out 3D spaces, check out you can build it to run in the browser. That is what I meant to say. Okay, you can build it to just run in the browser. So let's just do something. Okay, um, let's do something. Let's do something. Let's call up. Okay, let's just drag. In WebGL, you don't need to call up any image target. You don't need to call up any. You don't need all these options. Okay. In WebGL, you don't need them. What you just need to do is to just build, okay? Just build, because it's going to run in your browser. It's a 3D stuff. You know what? I think let me export this 3D model in Blender so that I can add all um, the image targets, sorry, the materials to it. So let me quickly do that. Where is it? Let me open Blender. Let me import the model. What file extension is the model? It's Fbx. So yes, once you're importing into Blender, ensure that you import the right file. Model import Fbx. Let's check the location of it. Yes, this is it. Awesome. So there you go. Let's see whether okay. So I will. It was in Fbx extension, so I will export it in Obj so that I can add up everything. So that once it merges everything together, I can add the material to it. So export Obj wavefront Obj. I hope it works. So let's go back to file. Alright, yes, we have exported it house.obj. Okay. Alright. Then I think it should appear in Unity. It should automatically update in Unity. Yes, awesome. This is it. That's updated in Unity. Let's see. Okay, great. Now I want to show you the difference between Fbx and Obj. Okay, this is the Fbx that I just converted into Obj right now, and this is the Fbx. Okay, now if you look at both, if I click on this drop down for Fbx, you see it has a child. All these things are the child. Okay, everything. So it's actually in here. Okay, now because of this children that we have in here, I couldn't really add this texture. Now this texture is supposed to contain everything. Once I add this texture to this model, it's supposed to contain everything, the image, the textures for the tree, the plant, the grass, the house, and everything. But I was not able to get that done because this model was in Fbx. So I converted it to Obj right now, which merge everything together, and you have just one particular child here that is called default. So let me delete the Fbx. Now, so if I drag this texture to this default, you see we have everything together. Wow, this is awesome. Okay, yeah. So you have everything together. Awesome. So now with this, there's nothing much to actually do. Okay, we can actually play. Okay, let's just call up a plane. Wow. Let's call up a plane. Let's just have random things here. Let's just have when you're building for Webgl, right, you don't really need to make anything a child of anything. Okay, you can just keep on adding random stuff here in your hierarchy. Okay, we have this tree. We can duplicate this tree Okay, we can duplicate this tree, duplicate this cube. Okay, we can just do anything, just something crazy. Okay, now once you do this, well, this is actually looking like all those cartoon stuff. So once you do this, right, just come over to build settings. Remember to add your open scene. Okay, we already have our scene. Then switch to Webgl. Once you switch, then switch to Webgl. Remember, I said Webgl runs in the web. Okay. Once you switch to Webgl, right, Webgl platform, Webgl build, then you click on build. Okay, so it will build up everything. Once it opens up there, ensure that you create another folder called build. Okay, so let's create a folder in here called web build. Yeah, in this folder web, so that is where everything will build into. So you select the folder, then it will automatically start building.